There is something new in the air in India. It is not only a sense of pride, how far we have traveled as a country in 75 years. There is also a new, fierce sense of independent thinking gripping people, a shrugging off the yokel of old, stillborn ideas and policies, a rejection of elitism and status quo, and most of all, the quiet determination of tearing out the very foundations of a prescriptive social and political order dictated by some people at the top. This ferment is manifesting in a new counterculture of cultural boycott of creativity, Bollywood film, and even personalities who are perceived to be ardent advocates of the old and the elite. At first glance, the boycott of a Bollywood film by the Twitterati might appear to be trivial, a passing trend, a light shower on a sunny day. But make no mistake about it. A new boycott culture is taking place in the country. It is spreading fast like a prairie fire. And most of all, the ordinary citizen has discovered his or her power of a boycott call, which they understand extends not only to Bollywood films, but to all products and services, institutions, personalities, and political and social outfits which do not conform to their vision of a new assertive India demanding its place in the sun. In that sense, this boycott call is no less significant than the pre independence boycott call of all things British. I will explain in a moment the nuts and bolts of this boycott call, how it is taking shape, and what brought it on in the first place. But first, let me take the occasion to greet all viewers of the CAA Show from London. I think it is quite fitting in a sense I am recording this episode in London. Who better than the British to understand the meaning of the word boycott? CAA, as all of you know, is Conversations and Analysis, and my name is Juggi Bhasin. To watch a show, press the big red subscriber button on your screen, and subscription is, of course, completely free. Now, let us first understand what brought on this boycott call. It did not spring out of thin air. The current political dispensation in India, led by Prime Minister Modi, is midway in its second term. This achievement by any political standard is historical and noteworthy. These were not fluke victories. This political change was ushered in because the people were sick of the old, tired communal manner of running things in the country. Now, when this change occurred, there were dozens and dozens of prominent media and intellectual personalities and economists, to name a few, who refused to accept the change. In a day, their appropriation of a sense of power being close to the old regime was taken away. In a day, they faced not only social and cultural downsizing, but also economic loss, since proximity to the old regime gave them access to all kinds of contracts, scholarships, and postings and travel abroad at the taxpayer's expense. I'll give you an example of this proximity that will make you laugh. There are some old archival photos which show the erstwhile Prime Minister addressing the media in the Special Air Force plane that takes media persons abroad. In some of these photos, you can see Manmohan Singh sitting on a chair and some media persons standing around the chair, resting their arms on the same chair, looking down on Manmohan Singh. The photo, in a sense, makes you laugh and shocks you at the same time. Can you imagine this kind of disrespect in the Modi era? This is the kind of leverage and proximity the old order had with the old regime. And that is why this new order has never accepted the credentials of the new Modi regime. They have created a fictionalized narrative of their own of how bad the situation is in the country on basically three parameters. Firstly, they say the economy, according to them, is in a free fall and there are no jobs. Secondly, the communal situation in the country is out of control. And lastly, democracy is all but dead in India. The reality of the situation is that India has never been so important in world affairs as it is now in the present. Ask this question from people like me who frequently travel abroad. The kind of respect India evokes in people we meet abroad is seen to be believed. Everyone wants to be associated with India in some capacity or the other. In India itself, millions of jobs are being created in the massive infrastructure push on roadways, airports, and ports. From bank accounts and cooking gas for everyone to free meals and food grains for the poorest of the poor, all that is happening under the new regime. And I can't remember any time the Prime Minister has spoken anything derogatory against the Muslims in the country. But all this is lost on the protectors of the old regime. Look at the way the protectors of the old regime used the sacred anniversary of 75 years of India's independence to run down the country. The wailing media sisters, not by birth though, that is, Barkha Dutt and Rana Ayub, used the occasion to run down the country in their columns in the Washington Post, which is more hostile to India than even the Pakistani English language newspaper Dawn. Shekhar Gupta, another worthy, cleverly quoted an India hostile economist to paint the ludicrous picture that India's per capita income was the same as it was during independence. And so on and on by the legions of Modi haters. In the process, all of them forget that in the lust to hate Modi, they end up hating India more and more with each passing day. And now a time has come when the ordinary citizen, the public, can see through their games, and it has resorted to boycott of all such people and their policies and writings and creativity. The public have won their first test case by ensuring that the Amir Khan starrer Lal Singh Chadda was a complete failure. The movie Dobara is next on the line. More, of course, will follow. The people have spoken, and it is time the protectors of the old order take heed to the warning. And so, on this note, I come to the end of this episode of the CAA Show. I hope you really enjoyed this particular episode, and if you like our show, do subscribe to us. And on this note, it's goodbye and cheers from my end.